Hello, good morning, everybody. Modern English drama. Modern English drama is a very important aspect of discussion in the history of English literature. When we talk about modern English drama developments that happened in the past, you all know that how English drama begin to grow into a mature genre in 16th century. Whenever we are talking about English drama, we talk about how there was a solid foundation laid by university wits in 16th century. Whether we talk about mystery plays, miracle plays, we talk about morality plays, we talk about and how the university wits paved way for a great drama in 16th century. It's all history that we read: Shakespeare's tragedies, Shakespeare's comedies, and histories. Then the drama began to decline in 17th century. We talk about post-Shakespearean drama. However, there was a development of comedy of humors in 17th century by Ben Jonson. Of course, he was a contemporary of Shakespeare too. And we see the host of dramatists. Theaters were closed during Puritan rule, and again they were reopened in Restoration period. We see the development of comedy. We have the playwrights like Congreve, Wycherley in Restoration, Comedy of Manners. We have the great writers like John Dryden writing heroic tragedies like All for Love. Then dramatic activities in England were rather slow compared to 16th and 17th century. In 18th century, we see the development of sentimental comedy, anti-sentimental comedy. We have the rise of people like, of course, Sheridan Goldsmith contributing something to the development of drama. In 19th century again, you can see the dominance of novel and dominance of poetry, developments. Of course, we discuss some writers like Oscar Wilde. Uh, but when it comes to 20th century, we need to discuss some features of 20th century drama. 20th century is known for, providing space for all genres of literature. Um, Drama was richly, developed. Novel was very popular. You can see variety in 20th century poetry and varied prose writers. So in that way, 20th century is very, very eventful as far as literature is concerned. Before I talk about important playwrights of 20th century, we normally literature in undergraduate courses, we discuss most of the time the trends and movements and some sort of a survey or some kind of understanding of major writers of 20th century. I made it very clear in the beginning that this lecture would be of a kind of an outline kind of a lecture. I'm going to just talk about how the drama in England, begin to take the center stage in the beginning of 20th century. 20th century drama is the product of varied influences. I spoke about, of course, and there is a tradition and modernity. Of course, it has its own great tradition of drama. as I have already discussed some of the writers in the past. But it is also the product of modern influences. When it comes to influences, the major influences are, in the 20th century, literature was, of course, influenced by varied socio-political, historical events. The two world wars, the development of psychology, the development of science and technology, the influence of cinema, the influence of television, the influence of radio. And apart from that, there were foreign influences. Foreign influences, when it comes to foreign influences, there are three major foreign influences during 20th century. Of course, you have Russian influence, great writers from Russia also influenced. There is influence of American literature. Great writers were born in America. Since the world was turning out to be a global village, a lot of influence. The major influence on modern drama is said to be that of Norwegian writer Henrik Ibsen. Henrik Ibsen, who wrote, he in fact paved way for a new kind of a drama. This drama is now known as a drama of ideas, the drama um, which influenced almost the first half of the 20th century. Ibsen is a man who wrote wonderful plays. To quote some of his plays, Ibsen wrote the famous play "The Ghosts." How the ghosts of parents haunt, the past will continue to haunt the present. You see the pillars of the society. You see a wonderful play, A Doll's House, a great depiction of character of Nora Hammer, and you have a Master Builder. Uh, this kind of drama, in fact, influenced the modern writers. In that way, the modern English writers, particularly John Galsworthy, Barker, and G.B. Shaw, they were very much influenced by this kind of drama ideas. It means that there is a break from the past. In other words, modern drama, uh, shows break from the past. We we normally see that the romantic view of life or use of imagination, some kind of a fanciful dialogues. If we go back to the plays of 16th century, we understand this kind of romantic plays. You don't see this kind of romanticism or a kind of um, you know uh, the play which is totally dominated by imagination. You see the people, in fact, Shaw made it very clear that my plays are not meant for entertainment. In fact, he said that he is a didactic writer. Something the play should carry some message. The play should come out where plays pleasant and plays unpleasant. That way, modern prose drama is, in fact, the product of some influences. They try to depict the problems of the society. They try to understand the realities of contemporary society and depict the same in a naturalistic way. uh, that's why it is called. Obviously, the modern English drama, particularly the group of dramatists, there are a number of dramatists who, in fact, followed this tradition. Their major thing is that they're trying to understand society. Where, one of the important writers in this connection is John Galsworthy. John Galsworthy is not only a great novelist and a short story writer, but also a noted playwright. Very, very, important playwright of 20th century. Very committed writer also. His plays, of course, he has written Silver Box, Justice. Um, his plays deals with corruption in the society. His place deals with the class struggle. His place deals with racial discrimination. He also tries to, of course, present the commonplace. One of the features of this naturalistic drama is these writers used a simple and direct prose. Galsworthy or you know, uh, G.B. Shaw. They wrote wonderful prose dramas. Of course, we may not get great entertainment, but they certainly mold our minds and reform. They aim at some kind of a reformation, like Dickens's novels. They are called committed writers. They want to bring about a change in the society naturally, you know, and trying to convey a kind of an idea. That's why they are called drama of ideas. So Galsworthy's plays, all the plays, were dealing with the problems in the justice system, the problems in class. So that is one picture you can see here. It means what I mean to say is they try to present life in its actualities. When it comes to actualities, particularly, you don't see the romantic description of just life as you see, you know, the wandering barks or wonderful heroes and heroines, charming heroines and heroic heroes. That is replaced by the when the when you read such plays, you feel as if you are reading your own life, or as if you between the life that is real and life that is presented in the in the in on the stage. So that is something about Galsworthy, and the drama of ideas mean this only. And one more important feature of modern drama is, of course, a scientific treatment of love and sex. Scientific treatment, of course, as I told you in the beginning itself, that it's all by psychology. The great psychologists like Sigmund Freud, they come out with their own theories of psychological theories. So here, what happens? You just don't see the idealized form of love, as I already made it clear, a romantic concept or the platonic concept of you know uh, love stories. You see, what G.B. Shaw says, the idea of life force. Life force, life is more important than everything. So there is a redefinition of this particular concept of love, and the same thing happened in case of novels also. So naturally, there is a kind of a redefinition of in the light, because we already know that the 20th century is called age of science and technology. And at the same time, whatever they try to understand, they try to understand through the lenses of science. We also say that it is an age of interrogation. Everything is questioned. So is the case of love and sex. So everything is questioned and they try to understand from the point of view of science. And this modern drama also deals with the class system and the conflicts that arise between the poor and the rich. And this is, of course, there is one, criticism of drama of ideas or naturalistic drama is that it was not full of action. The plays are not full of action. When you read Shakespeare's plays, whether it is Macbeth, Hamlet, or Julius Caesar, or even comedies like As You Like It and Midsummer Night's Dream, you see full of action because the idea is dominant here. Of course, they are slow in action actually, and thoughts are more. Mm, There is the play of thoughts, and naturally, they lack. We see writers like J.M. Singh, whether it is Riders to the Sea, Playboy of the Western World. So you see the play, or with, dominated by symbolism. Some of the critics also feel that social forces became the dramatic personages here. Social forces. Who is the hero in the play? Whether the hero in the play is a character or a force, particularly. Sometimes when it comes to play like Justice, when it comes to a play like Silver Box, there are certain forces which become the heroes or personages there. It means that the ideas are dominant than the. In that way, the 20th century drama. It's also one more feature of this particular 20th century drama is a new comedy of manners. New comedy of manners. We read about comedy of manners in 17th century. 17th century, we talk about upper class comedy, London comedy. We read about Congreve, Wycherley, and this comedy was focusing the upper class society of 17th century uh, in London particularly. Here you can also see the rise of new comedy of manners in 20th century. And one more important feature of modern drama is that the Irish contribution. Uh, of course, Ireland played always a major role in English literature. We see a number of writers from Ireland. Now in 20th century, you have wonderful writers from Ireland like W.B. Yeats, J.M. Singh. There is one Irish National Theatre established in Dublin. You can also see, establishment of the Abbey Theatre in Dublin. So theatrical activities were in fact given greater fillip and greater support by people like Lady Gregory. You have wonderful team of people in Ireland. and they supported the very uh, idea of drama. Of course, Ireland played a major role in development of theatre in 20th century. So, the other important feature of 20th century drama is poetic drama. We discussed the naturalistic drama or drama of ideas or problem plays or realistic plays, whatever you call, they all are one and the same. You have people like G.B. Shaw, Galsworthy, Barker writing such plays. Uh, but here you have one more type of drama called poetic drama. Some people felt that prose is not capable of holding, or prose is not capable of expressing the complex emotions. So they felt that poetry is the right medium to express the complex uh, thoughts. So is the rise of poetic drama. You can see, and the great writers of poetic drama. Of course, it was attempted by various writers. Even Tennyson also attempted a poetic play. But here in 20th century, the great poets, T.S. Eliot already made a big name in 20th century by publishing his famous poem, The Wasteland. W.B. Yeats already established himself as a great romantic poet. Now he wrote wonderful Irish poems, Byzantine poems. So these two writers, in fact, uh, of course, there is one more. John Drinkwater attempted this. Uh, T.S. Eliot gave, in fact, he not only wrote a poetic play, but also wrote theory. What should be in the poetic drama? So he should be studied seriously. I only remember one of his famous plays is the Murder in the Cathedral. Murder in the Cathedral speaks about the story of Thomas Becket of Canterbury, who was martyred and who became a saint later, and how T.S. Eliot tries to present the characters of four temptations, the 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 conflict in the play. It is written in wonderful poetry. There is chorus. In that way, it becomes a classic poetic play of T.S. Eliot. Of course, others also wrote, whether it is W. Yeats's Countess Kathleen and John Drinkwater wrote some plays. Uh, Poetic drama also declined later because it was not able to become a very popular play later. One more important development in 20th century is the absurd drama. Absurd drama, we it essentially speaks about the meaninglessness. There is, of course, one of the classic examples of absurd drama is Samuel Beckett. Samuel Beckett comes out with his famous, play "Waiting for Godot" and Endgame, particularly Endgame. This drama, of course, you see great writers writing absurd drama in America, even in India. In Canada we see Chandrasekhar Patil writing such absurd plays. Uh, is Tingara Buddhana, Kodekadu. Similarly, you see such wonderful uh, plays written by Beckett, uh, which is in fact very new kind of a thing. Godot never comes. You know, trying to find a meaning in life itself becomes a big challenge. So there is no meaning at all. There is no. So obviously, what we should understand from 20th century is that there are different types of plays written during this particular. Of course, whatever I have discussed is up to 1950 only. I am not able to talk about contemporary English and drama, but it's just an outline you can understand. The features of modern drama, the varieties in modern drama, particularly the naturalistic plays or problem plays. You see the poetic drama, you see absurd drama. So, students have to focus on the very idea how drama in England, developed in such a way, and how they were beautifully showcased by various medias. Of course, cinema, whenever we are talking about cinema and television, they were both a challenge as well as opportunity for development of drama. They were a challenge because cinema was offering a wonderful screen, whereas at the same time they provided opportunity because all the major plays were converted into cinemas. You know, if you see even J.M. Barrie's admirable Crichton and Shaw's all the major plays, whether it is Saint John or Candida, Man and Superman, Arms and the Man, Pygmalion of G.B. Shaw. All these are given. Shaw was a great orator, of course. He himself was very much popular on BBC. So Shaw's plays, which deal with, they were, of course, broadcast either on radio or on, or in fact made into cinema. Is of course we need to understand drama from this perspective, that we need to understand who are the major writers writing naturalistic plays or problem plays, who are the major writers writing poetic plays, who are the major writers writing absurd plays. Of course, we have other varieties which I am not able to discuss today. Of course, I will meet some other time, or again go for one more lecture on the survey of major English writers. But it gives you a broad or a kind of a rough idea of how to approach modern drama. So, this is something about the drama in England during the first half of 20th century. Thank you. Is there any questions? I can pause it. Some students, yes. I'm going to stop my talk now, and thank you very much for listening. Thank you.